Music Brain.
Hello and welcome to Music Brain. Today I'm going to be talking about Gong and David Allen. I absolutely love this band, and I'm hoping that by the end of this video you might want to check them out and see what I'm going on about and why I rate them so highly. They made quite a lot of albums over the years, but I think that many people who are into Gong probably would say that the most popular of their albums were what's known as the Radio No Invisible trilogy, being these ones here. The first one, Flying Teapot, the second one, Angel's Egg, and the third one is called You, which is probably my personal favourite, although they're all damn good. And really, just loosely, very loosely, and not in any depth really, perhaps I can get into it later, really it's like a little story, a little mythology that Dave makes up. It's full of humour and word play. Basically there's a central figure called Zero the hero, an everyman, and one way or another he can receive music from the planet Gong, from an anarchist sort of a radio station called Radio No Invisible. And it's all silly, but it's so silly because actually within all the lyrics and all the wordplay and the humour is a message of oneness, if you like, and all very cosmic. But I'm doing it a disservice because it's a lot deeper than that. But the beauty and the genius of it is it's getting a very deep message across, really, I think. But actually it's just laugh along and asking you not to take things too seriously, but just enough to get your brain working and search in the depths of your mind somewhere for perhaps a little bit of extra meaning that perhaps we don't seem to get into so much these days. These three albums, I would say that if you was to describe it, it's going to be commonly known as space rock, but it's psychedelic rock, it's jazz rock, it's really a mixture of many influences. And I suppose the essence really is the fact that it's just damn good music, and this is the whole point why I do what I do, because I think I want to get that, I want to put good music out there for people to discover when everything seems to be a little bit vacuous and a little bit sort of plain and a bit boring and a bit repetitive and not much going on, whereas in Gong's world there's no 2 seconds that are the same. It's taking you on a journey, taking you into a story. It's light-hearted, and then when the lyrics stop it can go into 2 or 3 or 4 minutes or longer of just wig out, almost jamming to a degree. Fantastic musicians playing their music. The band members changed over the years, and when it came in and out, along with David Allen actually. I think David Allen sort of left in the mid-70s after these albums were made, and then came back later and produced a load more albums with them. There's all sorts of stories that I could get into about the ins and outs of the band and that, but that would probably become boring, and it's not really why I'm doing this today. I think it's more just the fact that I want to get you into them first. So start off with these 3 albums. Stay with it too. I mean, the thing about any music that's working, or anything in life actually that's worth doing, is usually not really easy. You know, you have to make a bit of an effort. You've got to put some of your own time and effort into anything in order to get the best out of it. And I know the attention span isn't great with people these days, but I could turn that on its head and say, well, let's look at it in a positive way. Actually, if you haven't got much of an attention span and you find things boring, this should be the antidote, because actually they are anything but boring, and for every extra minute you listen it will take you somewhere else. So that's one of the reasons why I get into it, and all these years later I can put an album on and still hear something different and still be amused by it, and absolutely immerse myself in it. This album here, Camembert Electric, Virgin put this out for something like 49p back in the day, just to get people to sort of, oh, I think I'll try that for that amount of money. It did mean that they weren't allowed to go up the charts on that because it was so underpriced, but obviously the theory being that once you get hooked on the piece of music and the band, you might just go out and buy other albums by them at a different price, and it certainly worked. Camembert Electric is also a highly regarded album by them, and when it comes to their merchandise you always see the Camembert Electric artwork on a t-shirt. So again, another early 70s album, 1971. So that's another one to try out. And then this one I find myself playing fairly regularly. This one's called Gong Live, etc. And if you like the live experience of an album, then this is probably my pick of some of their live ones, although there are other good ones. And I'll cover them later in another video, maybe go into more detail on separate albums, one by one. But today, really, it's just to get across the message of Gong. It's the concept of Gong and the genius of David Allen. So, those 5 albums there, there's the Gong Trilogy, Gong Live and Camembert Electric are my pick to begin with. They've made a lot of albums, but they're the ones that I would say give a real good listen to begin with, just to get you into it. Another thing to mention is David incorporated a style of guitar playing called glissando, where he would put a sort of whether it's a whammy bar or whatever you want to use, a bottle or something like that, up and down the string slowly with a sustain, giving long drawn out notes, very long sort of soothing sound. That comes across in a lot of the albums. And Ginny Smith developed a style called space whispering. Again, something to listen out for on the albums, just to give it the overall Gong sound, really, which you don't really, it's unique, you don't really hear it on any other album. So listen for the space whispering, listen for the glissando style guitar playing, and that very much adds to the overall sound that you're going to get with Gong. Another thing to mention as well also is, seeing as I'm such a big fan, is I was lucky enough to see them a few occasions over the years, and you could get up close to them. They'd play small venues, and they weren't sort of, didn't have these huge egos. Oh, they can't get near me because I've sold some albums, so therefore I'm untouchable. No, you could share a beer with them and talk to them and have a photograph taken with them, get an autograph and have a chat. Very much, feet firmly on the ground. Didn't have any of these airs and graces that these stars have these days. And that's another thing which is being lost, and it's a real shame, because say the connection between the artist and the fan is getting ever wider now, so that's being lost. Real shame, but great whilst it lasted, and I'm waffling. Much of my appreciation of David Allen is the fact that he is a creative genius, and there are very few people that that have the ability where their sort of their creative portal is open at all times, and they can't help but create. And I suppose really I'd say his output is on par with someone like Frank Zappa, who put out 50, 60 albums or more. Plenty of albums in his lifetime, and posthumously more albums are coming out. He's in that bracket. There are just some people with geniuses like that. I'd give anything to have 1/10 of their creative output and inspiration. Spike Milligan, the comic genius that he was, again, his output was prolific, and he was festering with ideas, and there's very few people out there, but David Allen's one of them. And just for your information, so not only Gong, a fantastically entertaining band, great musicianship, David Allen, being a creative genius he was, put out a series of albums called Banana Moon Obscura. Now there's meant to be 20 of these, but unless anybody knows any different than I've collected every one, and there's actually only 17, which is a shame. But there we go, we should be grateful that we got 17. I mean, how many artists can even put that out anyway? Not only did all the stuff with Gong, and another side project called University of Errors. David Allen created that band too, but also all these obscure albums. Now the thing about this, and I'm going to let you into a little bit of a secret here, is even though you might go on eBay and try and hunt some of these out, some people are asking rather a lot of money for them. But if you go on Planet Gong website, guess what? You can get many of these really cheap. Now there's only 1,000 of these pressed, okay? So if you discover that you really like Gong and that world and musicianship and interesting stuff, then these are definitely worth collecting. It's a shame that a lot of people don't, and you can still buy them. So there you are. So few people are into this sort of stuff, but if you are and you want something different to listen to, you can still get many of these on their original website at a good price. And David Allen was a great artist too, and a lot of the art on the album covers was his own. So like this one here, I mean they're all his creations really. But it's like a line art. Camembert Electric, this is his too. Obviously you're not going to see it very well here, but if you go and search it out later, you'll see that how good his line art was, and all this artwork on these, all his. Again, you probably can't really see that well, but it's all his line art. If I had vinyl, see that's another. That's a good thing about vinyl. It's a lot bigger, isn't it? You can see more, but it's some great line art, and I love all of that really. But just another few notes about this is obviously there's a hell of a lot of albums there. There's 17 albums. I can't really go into detail about all of them, but there's one I was listening to this morning because I just want to sort of get a flavour of them again to remind myself about these. And even though a lot of his stuff is makes you feel happy and high, and it's comical and light-hearted, almost impish, you know, he can get angry, and on this particular obscure number 7, there's the opening track's good. It's a really twisted version of 21st century schizoid man. But there's a track on there called, the last track is called No Udder, and it's a poem, and it is David Allen at his utmost angriest, really angry at the world. Is that anger and disgust, more or less saying bring on Armageddon basically. And you wouldn't believe that from him, but there you are. So just when you think he's a happy chappy, mild mannered, all the rest of it, he could get as angry as all of us with the way of the world and the people who run it. Okay, so his artwork's fantastic. He's a catalyst for Gong. He's put out this side projects, both University of Errors and these obscure albums, which I urge you to check out, especially if you're already a Gong fan, because don't think because they're cheap, or he's put them out as a sort of a side project, that they're not worthy of listening to. There are some real gems in here, really experimental. The sound quality on most of them is fine, you know, there really is nothing wrong with it. Definitely go and try and collect them, because whilst they're cheap, I mean, the thing about it is CDs, I've gone over to CDs years ago, and I've almost been tempted to flog them and sell them and think, right, I'll just back everything up onto, you know, as an MP3 or whatever, or FLAC, sell them all on. But no, come on, you know, they're stable, they're as they should be, and now's a great time to be into CDs, because people can't even give them away, so you can get some cracking albums for virtually no money. And who has the last laugh? We do. Anybody that likes CDs, so don't chuck your CDs. It's a great format, and it's peanuts, isn't it? Oh, do you know what? Just to go off on a little tangent here, but it just struck me the other day. It's funny, isn't it? Nobody seems to want to pay bugger all for music anymore. You know, sod the musicians and the people that have had to work hard to put something out for your entertainment. And yet now people will pay 20 to 25 quid for a vinyl album. I don't know, I really don't know, but there you go, must be me. Right, now, something else I must say about Gong also is the greatest gig I've ever experienced was a Gong gig. It was at a place called the Melkweg in Amsterdam in 2006. It was called the Gong Unconvention. It was across 3 days, and basically anything related to Gong, all the other side projects and bands and ex-band members all came together across those 3 days and put together this brilliant sort of 3-day event. which I'll never forget, and I can say this right now with full confidence, I'll never experience a show with the atmosphere, the musicianship and the whole thing. Nothing will ever come close to that experience, and any gongster, as we're known, any gongster that attended that will know exactly what I mean, and I'm sure will share the same feelings as I, that there will never be an experience like it again. Now sadly David Allen has passed, but a little positive around it is a DVD was put out covering that event. This is a 2 DVD version of it. I think it's not that easy to get now, but if you can, even though you're never going to get the full experience on a DVD, you've got to be at these shows, haven't you, to sort of really know what it's about. But having said that, the show's been immortalised on here, along with me and my other half, because we were near the front. There's me and my camera flashing away at the front there somewhere. Absolutely fantastic live experience that was. They brought all the original, apart from the ones that died, all the original band members together for this show. All their best stuff together on DVD 1 and on DVD 2. You've got Steve Hillage Band, Mother Gong, Glicindo Orchestra, Here and Now, Acid Mother's Gong, Kangaroo Moon, University of Errors, Tim Blake's Crystal Machine. You've got all of that on another DVD too. Probably not many of these put out. If you can find it, get it. It's absolutely brilliant. Right, so just to recap then, because I've probably been going on a bit about it really, I would urge you to get the Radio Gnome Invisible trilogy first, which is, in no particular order, no, will be in order actually. Flying Teapot was the first, where the music and the sound quality was not the best, but still very listenable, and obviously probably remastered these days anyway. Angel's Egg, which was produced a lot better. And then finally, my particular favourite. There's different covers for this, by the way. This is just a cover from a different label, I think. Dick Howe, this is on. You, which is the third in the trilogy, and that is sublime. Them at their best, really. Plenty of other albums out there to choose from, and they're all really, really good. But start off with those 3. That'll give a real flavour of what Gong's about. And then obviously Gong, etc. live, and Camembert Electric are the other 2 picks, but there really are plenty there. And obviously don't forget the 17 Banana Moon Obscura albums that you can get cheap on the Planet Gong website. Don't pay over the odds, don't pay 10, 15, 20 quid or whatever people want for them on eBay. They are a lot cheaper on the Planet Gong website. Check them out. That's all I can say. Hope you've enjoyed it. See you in the next one.